Hello, welcome to this project's compilation video. This year has been a great year for discovering my potential, and I found a lot of joy in creating things with my own hands. So, in today's video, I'm excited to show you everything I've made this year as a beginner in both crochet and sewing. Well, not everything. Sadly, I don't own everything I made because I have given some away to friends or family. Also, I'll be focusing on clothes and accessories, not decorations. For some of these projects, I've created my own patterns or tutorials, which I'll link below in case you want to try them out yourself. So, if you are in the process of learning to sew or crochet, or if you're looking for ideas, you are in the right place. Let's go! I will start with crochet, where all began. I think I mentioned this in a video before, but I learned how to crochet at my local community center about 1.5 years ago. It was a wonderful way to learn because I learned how to write patterns and do different stitches with the help of the teacher and classmates. And I progressed much faster than when I tried to learn from YouTube videos. So, if you have the options, I highly recommend taking in-person classes. I'm going to start with my Astur sweater. This patchwork crochet sweater is a personal favorite. It was my first big crochet project, and I made most of it on a road trip with my sister. She was the driver, so I had a lot of time in my hands to make this. It turned out great and it's very soft, but if I have to find fault in it, I would say that the neck pieces would have been better if I had decreased some stitches around it. And also that it is really heavy and chunky, so I can only use it when it's really cold, and we don't have many days like this where I live. One thing that's super quick and easy to make are beanies. In crochet class, we learned a rivet pattern to create pumpkins by pulling yarn from half chains. So I thought it would be perfect to use this stitch for making bonnets as Christmas projects. I highly recommend giving this a try, because if you use a thick yarn, you'll see results in no time, which makes them even more rewarding. If you're looking for an easy and super quick project, I would recommend making these little Earbud cases. You just have to learn how to make a granny square, then make 2 of them and stitch them together. This is a cute and practical project. I've made a few as gifts and they are always a success. Also, if you learn how to do this granny square pattern, you will be able to do lots of things. For example, using this granny square pattern, I made this bag in just a few days. It's simply 2 large granny squares stitched together. I use it all the time because it's the perfect size and super lightweight. My favorite part has to be the lining I added. It was my first time lining a crochet piece, and I was so pleased with how it turned out. Now I always add lining because it makes the piece sturdier and helps them last longer, especially when carrying weight. Another project I made out of granny squares is this top. The chosen pattern was the daisy granny square, but changing the colors to emulate a cherry blossom. I made a total of 16 granny squares and then lengthened the top and added straps. This granny square is a little more advanced but still easy to make. This floral top was a great project for a rainy spring weekend. Again, if I had to find a fault in it, the granny squares are sometimes too see-through for a top, so I had to sew a lining. And if I were to do it again, I would probably make the straps shorter, because they have quickly stretched out. Next up are some recent projects that I made entirely from my yarn stash. When I first thought about making a scarf, I hadn't crocheted in a while and I didn't want to buy new yarn. I felt like I had put this hobby on the back burner and didn't want to invest more money into it. So I went to my stash and pulled together leftover yarns that I thought would work together. It turned out to be a great idea because I absolutely love how the scarf looks. This is also a perfect project for beginners, as it's just simple half double crochet repetitions until you're happy with the length. I saved the best crochet piece for last. This fall vest is my all-time favorite crochet piece. I've worn it in all sorts of occasions and paired it with various outfits, with my tired skirt, with jeans, at village festivals. I also love that the colors come from yarns I already had in my stash. The lining with inside pockets adds a grandpa vibe to it, and overall it has an indescribable charm. I love it so much. Now on to sewing. This was an entirely new skill for me this year, and I've learned so much. I also took some classes at the community center to start sewing, and I've been fortunate to have my mother-in-law teach me valuable tricks and patterns while generously sharing her materials. Here's a look at what I've created so far. These Palazzo pants were one of my first pieces of clothing I sewed. Actually, the first one is this top we made in class, but I'm not very fan of this pattern and fit, so I have never worn it. These pants were a little challenging at the beginning, but they are quite simple. If you learn how to make this, you can make shorts and other kind of pants. These are great for lounging around the house, but one day I might consider unstitching the sides to add pockets, since we were still beginners in class and didn't tackle that detail at the time. Oh, I almost forgot about this because I barely wear them, but in class we also did this kimono, which was quite easy, and this pencil skirt that turned out amazing. And the zipper was a win for me, it looks really neat. Next up, I made this white crop top that is such a simple but cute piece. I used the top I already had to draw the pattern and added these rectangles on the sides to add a different touch. I also left the bottom as it came on the fabric and I love it. The next thing I designed from scratch is my cottagecore style dress. It was my first attempt to sew a dress and it came with a lot of challenges. One of them being that I made this in a camper van trip, so if you haven't seen that video you can watch it next because it turned out charming. The dress has a dreamy Pride and Prejudice vibe that I absolutely love. There's a lot of room for improvement, perhaps making the top more elaborate or making it a little tighter. But on the bright side, it has huge pockets, which is always nice. Now let's dive into some upcycle projects. One of the first thrift flips I made were scrunchies, a headband and a bandana, all from one top I thrifted. These were quick and simple projects and I used them a lot. I found a great joy in upcycling this year. It's a bit more challenging, but it saved me a trip to the fabric store and I get to use what I already have or what I thrift. Next, I have this skirt that was upcycled from a dress that I wasn't using. I loved the fabric, but not the style of the dress, so I cut and added an elastic band on the waist. Now it's one of my favorite skirts. It was totally worth the risk. And now we have this beauty. I know these are not clothes, but it's all that's left of a sheet that I turned into an entire wardrobe for my sister's birthday. I made so many pieces with this sheet that I couldn't fit them into this video, so if you're interested, you can go to this video later. My sister has almost all the pieces, but I saved for me the Baguette bag, which I use every day, and some fabric remains to make an ebook cover. I think I haven't shown you this ebook cover yet. It's really cute. It's not perfect, the edges are a bit rough, but it serves its purpose. This was a great learning exercise for me. So if you're afraid of sewing because you don't want to ruin a beautiful fabric, get an old bedsheet that was going to be thrown away and just enjoy. This takes off a lot of pressure. Next up is another thrift flip. My absolutely gorgeous and dreamy patchwork dress. I spent months collecting green shirts from thrift stores to create the perfect outfit for my birthday. I loved piecing it together and designing it along the way, and the final result exceeded my expectations. I can't find any flaws with this one. For me, it's absolutely perfect. A solid 10 out of 10, just simply a dream came true. And last but not least, we have my brown Maxi tiered skirt. I made this from a thrifted sheet that has had many uses so far, and I still have fabric left. This skirt is quite simple to make, and it consists of 4 tiers and can be made in an afternoon. This is such a lovely addition to my handmade wardrobe. It's flowy, comfortable, and it's really Pinterest worthy. So I think that's everything I made this year as a beginner. Maybe I have some other pieces that I forgot about, but I feel I've been talking for ages now and I'm not used to it, so thank you very much for watching until the end. Please tell me which piece was your favorite. I enjoy reading your comments so much. It warms my heart to know you got inspired, and I love the ideas and tips you give me. See you next time!